All right. The major question today is who should Deonna Purrazzo face at Slammiversary? We got that along with a little other tidbits for today for our hot topic. So let's jump into today's show right now, folks.
Big old bell, big old bell, big old bell, big old bell. All I really want is that big old bell, big old bell, big old bell, big old bell. All I really need that big old bell, big old bell, big old bell, big old bell. All I really want is that big old bell, big old bell, big old bell, big old bell. Big old bell, every Manolo.
What's up, everybody? Niger alongside of Miranda, and we're back each and every Friday here. Unpredictable time, so that's why we always kind of push the whole narrative to subscribe, notification bell. That way you can catch us each week as we cover our hottest topic coming out of Impact Wrestling this week. Check out more content over at thechairshot.com as far as Miranda, her show, along with Greg and some other good folks putting out daily content there, and keep up with me here at bigobelt.com. But as I said, weekly, we're here each and every Friday talking about our hottest topic coming out of Impact Wrestling, whether it's Impact on Access TV on Thursday nights or something buzzworthy news. But today, Miranda, we're going to be talking about the big question of who should Deonna Purrazzo face at Slammiversary? She completely washed this division. First of all, definitely got to give a shout out to my friend Lady Frost debuting on Impact Wrestling.
Yes.
Good to see her all over television nonetheless.
Yep.
And also, I might as well throw this out there. Please, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, get on y'all stuff. Help her get her accounts back. She's been hacked on all three. The trifecta. Terrible.
Oh, that's awful. Yeah.
Terrible.
Especially now. I mean, she's been all over wrestling television, so it's prime to have the social medias up to date and not hacked.
Yeah, and some creeperzoid is like replying back on it as well and sending messages out. So, definitely help her get back her main account. I think she's operating on backup Frost right now. But the real Lady Frost has been compromised. But again, good to see her make her debut. I had known about this for a little while. We talked about a month or something ago. I think that's how far back this was taped. Yeah. But definitely doesn't matter because seeing it actually is always a good thing. Seeing friends make tremendous strides. And while she was fed to Deonna Purrazzo, again, who's washed everybody, so not just her, but everybody in this division has been washed by Deonna Purrazzo. The big question is, for the biggest night of the year, Slammiversary, who does she face? Who does she face?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's such a good question because you're right. She's taking care of everyone in the women's division, the knockouts division, and plus some. You know, we've had oh my gosh, I'm just trying to now the name is escaping me. Oh my God, who was a legendary knockout who kind of
Gail Kim.
Well, Gail Kim, yes. Gail Kim made the announcement, and really is a pillar, is the foundation of the knockouts division. So I like the intertwining of Gail Kim. It does tease, makes you wonder, who if Gail Kim is going to get back in the ring. I mean, this would be the journey that they've really showed with Deonna as far as being this powerhouse, being the beginning and the end of the knockouts division. And it's shown in her body of work. It kind of makes sense to tie in Gail Kim. I know that she is, retired and hasn't had a match in quite some time, but also at the biggest night of the year so far, why not put out all the stops and possibly tease really a match in the making of two legends of the Knockouts division, say, an up and comer and a future legend compared to the legend herself. I think that's definitely a teaser that to me, I got a little bit of a sense of that, but also could be just fascinating in the ring.
Yeah, I think I got chills when the music dropped, and I think that Gail Kim, who made it very clear that she's officially retired, um, I still got to feel like, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing
No.
this.
Mhm.
This is like epic on all sorts of proportions here. But I love what Gail Kim brings to Impact Wrestling as far as her fingerprints all over in the backstage presence. You definitely got to tip your hat as to why the Knockouts division is where it's at right now. Both with her both with her work inside the ring, and both with her work backstage. At the point that Deonna Purrazzo being your champion, it feels even more elevated when you see your champion with a legend next to each other in the ring, and they're saying we're not even facing each other, and it's still like, wait, are you sure? Because this feels like the match,
It feels like the money match, because it really is. It's the present and the future meeting the Knockouts division past.
Yeah.
And I mean, she was the first female Hall of Famer in, the Impact TNA Hall of Fame. I mean, she really made the division what it was and what it is. But Deonna's Purrazzo, like, there's no denying the work that she's done over the past year to elevate herself, but also the Knockouts division, to create a very solid division, to have it much more technical, more technical matches, but also some intriguing storylines. I mean, her story and her matches with Jordynne Grace really was outstanding, and really took that division to the next level, took both of their careers to the next level. And we've seen that in also the matches she's had with Tennille Dashwood. And she's also, been with Rosemary, with Havoc, with literally everyone. And it's been great that it's intertwined into the Knockouts tag team, title scene as well. So it's been very seamless, and absolutely right as far as the credit that Impact deserves for having a very solid women's division, having outstanding matches week after week. Even though the division is a little bit lean, I think that's, they're really focused on the quality instead of quantity, and I think it shows in the show every week.
Good point. Something else I want to add to that too is, I definitely want to give my props to the entire division, because everybody's working in their spaces, in their spots. But anytime anything is involving Deonna Purrazzo, it is absolutely elevated, and it becomes a measure of importance. And I think one person that I've been talking about since they signed has been Kimberly. And I kept saying, keep your eyes out for her, because she's legit. She's in the best shape of her life. She's performing at a high rate, but she just hasn't had that opportunity yet. However, she is still a focal point of the weekly programming. What's interesting now is her and Susan are collaboratively conspiring against Deonna, who no longer needs them. And you start to get the idea, like, whoever this mystery opponent is, that's that. But Kimberly has to have been right around that corner looking like, I'm next. And that feels big time too, considering the story, considering their tenure outside of Impact, considering that when you think about their parallels and their careers as well too, there's a lot of intrigue there. And I feel like, as much as we talked about before with keeping Deonna Purrazzo and Kylie Ray away from each other because we know there was money to be made, this was also another little bit of the casualty with that, where it's like, well, Kylie's not there, but you still had that next person in Kimberly, who was also another big signing. What do you do with her to kind of keep her in this whirlpool of thing? But attaching her aside of Deonna, who we thought was a legitimate tag team presence, who could go after the tag team titles, but obviously there was, bigger fish to really claim the fame to that. But again, she still was just there the entire time. And now to the point where it's like, any minute now, we're going to see full potential. The thing I've been talking about, the thing I know that's there, full potential coming out of her. And it still revolves around Deonna Purrazzo and being a champion. And that's still good programming to me.
Well, and there's a longer story to say with Deonna Purrazzo. Like, whoever wins that championship from her, it's going to be a very big deal. And there's even more implications beyond really what we're seeing right now on Impact every week. Deonna is having now international rivalries over in AAA. Just about a week ago, she wrestled Lady Shani at Verano de Escándalo, and there is a big match hyped up for Triple Mania, champion versus champion, Deonna Purrazzo versus the Reina de Reinas champion, Fabi Apache. And which that was the belt that was vacated by Taya when she went over to NXT. So, one, I'm a little surprised that they're not talking more about this. I know that when Taya was both Reina de Reinas champion and Knockouts champion, I mean, that was something that was mentioned, briefly, but also, when it was needed to. But it was also a very big deal. Deonna has the opportunity to now be the second person to do that. And so I don't know, maybe they do tie in someone from AAA to continue that story. That could be kind of a huge mystery. That's a little bit from left field, just because it hasn't been mentioned at all on television. But that is something else that's happening in this other realm. That is a really big deal. That I think it would be smart if they brought it in, because Triple Mania is just about a month after a Slammiversary. So that is something too, as you talk about short-term versus long-term. Short-term, that is a program that they could focus on, while long-term you have contenders like Kimberly waiting in the wings for, an opportunity. And that may be kind of the right balance you need to do right now, is having a short-term program to get you to Triple Mania. And then, what happens afterwards. Because also think about this. The winner of that match at Triple Mania will be a dual champion. So, we already see, when we've talked about Thanos many a time already, what will that mean on the Impact side if Deonna wins, the Reina de Reinas championship, and how does that impact, her defenses? Is she going to be able to defend that on television as well? Who knows? But that's just another storyline that I would like to see more on Impact Television. That could be kind of a wild card factor in this Slammiversary match.
Man, you nailed it there. I mean, when you think about that too, you don't want to bring it up, because that does start to create the idea of booking yourself into a corner, and fans going to say, well, there's no way she can lose, because you've already got something going beyond that. And that's cool and all, but I think that's why Impact's handling it the way they are. But you're absolutely right on all accounts there. And I also, just to add, once you officially announced that you had Kimberly signed to an extensive deal, then you think long term, because you say, I got time to lay out the blueprint to get this done the right way. So, as much as we're talking about the opponent here, again, I just want to say that, like you said, that they're going over quality over quantity. And I also think that the division is all thriving, and especially anything that's involving Deonna Purrazzo, because it just feels like wherever she goes, it's a big deal. I mean, if you've never seen Lady Frost wrestle, I still think that she got a good rub on television. I'm not being biased because she's a friend, but I think that there's a good indication that, like, oh, that's legit talent, whether you've seen it or not. She got the nod from the person who's been washing the entire division. She said, like, you're a good opponent, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's enough. And I think, again, you have that there. You have Kimberly hiding. And then we got the biggest wild card factor here. And that's Susan, who looks like she's going away again. And looks like we may be getting Su Yung one more time, which I'm always going to fanboy Su Yung, no matter what.
And on top of that, too, we have, all of these. I already talked about a wild card as far as storyline perspective, but Slammiversary now, for the second year in a row, is being teased as, the the event for bringing in new people into the roster. So you have maybe some knockouts from the past who could be making their presence. One in particular that I think that comes to mind is Laurel Van Ness, aka Chelsea Green. I think that she it would be in a great place to be back at Impact. And the division does still need a little bit more of that talent that one is entertaining in the ring but also outside of the ring. So I could absolutely see this mystery opponent being someone from Impact's past, like Chelsea Green.
I want to enjoy this match, and I don't want to think too hard about the booking, but I think you brought up the most important part is that whoever comes is here for a 1 month post-loss program until she ends up doing the thing at AAA, because you want to keep the integrity of that match. So if it is going to be a signing, how do you work this? You got to work somebody. To me, you have to do a legend. You have to do somebody who doesn't have to win. But the fact that they are wrestling Deonna is a big deal. So Laura Van Ness doesn't quite feel like the person here, because there is, and I definitely think you give her the legend nod in regards to, or we'll even say the icon nod in regards to Impact Wrestling. But I don't think you want her to come in and you not give her a win.
Yeah, and that's very true.
And that's, again, why we go back to the whole Kylie Rae and Deonna Purrazzo thing. Is like, you don't want those two worlds clashing until the time is right, because we know there's one person who can't lose that match, and that's Kylie Rae. That was just it. And I think that she's the ultimate babyface. Like, I don't even know who else is bigger than her in regard at her prime and being a babyface. So you don't have her lose.
A really good point, and this was kind of in my back pocket as well. Someone who is not currently under contract with anyone, and someone who was more quiet. It's been quiet on the front with this person, and is absolutely a legend, and that's Awesome Kong. Someone that I don't think you don't need to have win, because she already is so established. But someone who is really in that legend status. When you think of Gail Kim, Awesome Kong is really within that same wheelhouse. So, that could be, as someone who I don't think needs to win, because she's already really, really established, but also someone, a win over her could really cement Deonna as, a future legend.
Yeah, for sure. I can go with that. So first off, to the comment, Trent and Stan, Chelsea, again, we just addressed, I don't think this is the right shoes for her, because I think you want her. I almost want her to be the person to come out even after the match to say, I'm next. And then you have her and Kimberly work a program for about a month, because they both are going to be striding in that same direction. And that keeps them both protected, and there's obviously history with the two of them as far as working with each other. So I'm for that. But Tessa is the one that I agree, the baggage thing. I do not know where in the world do I put Tessa. I just do not know.
Yeah,
because
that one I just don't see happening at all. I feel like she has moved beyond the Knockouts division. Even if she was still with the company, I feel like she was already in a different lane. And I feel like that's kind of the same now. I feel like it has to really be something special for her to kind of jump back in. And for the purposes of this, I really feel like she's just, in a different place. And I really just I don't see her coming back. If she were to come back, I don't see it to be in the Knockouts division.
All right, I'm going to get wild here with this. I want to get a little bit of wild. I do like Awesome Kong. That makes sense. Even though I believe, whatever her contract status is with AEW still, but the Forbidden Door thing, it is what it is. the Forbidden Door thing, hopefully that still applies in Impact as well too. I don't even understand
That's
this Forbidden
well,
Door.
yeah, no, that would be great. Especially, I mean, that's a whole other factor we haven't talked about. We mentioned it a long time ago when this whole Forbidden Door concept really started, and we
Gimmick,
started, yeah.
gimmick, gimmick.
And we, fantasy booked, especially with the AEW women's division needing the Knockouts division for good competition, and even being able to use it as an example of a lean but sturdy, strong, talented roster. Like, yes, and I don't know if that was the direction you were going in, but that reminded me
Well,
of where we were compared to, and then dropping it because we just knew nothing was going to happen.
Well, I want to get froggy here. Like, so, like, if we're going to go this AEW thing, I think that if you want to do something, because that's also a special attraction where that person losing the Impact doesn't hurt them in AEW, but it is like and I think a good, interesting person here could be Hikaru Shida.
Oh,
She is an ex-champion, and you get the notoriety of beating an ex-AEW champion. I think could absolutely turn some eyes here. And it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt her, but it definitely boosts Deonna Purrazzo. So I can go that route with saying, let's get crazy. However, I think that if we're going to go legend route, I don't want to, I mean, here's what I was going to say earlier, and it quickly made me forget that we need to wisen up. We need to go back to our roots here. We need to go back to the things we know. We need to go back 1 year ago to our headlight indications as to who's coming and how do we know that? Because the biggest spoilers indication, or Easter egg, should we say, was the Impact moment of the week. Do you remember the one that was for this week? It fits it checks all the boxes here. Ex-champion, legend status, doesn't need to win. Because this person has done the same thing in NXT. Did not need to win, but damn was it cool to see her versus Asuka. Mickie James.
Mm-hmm.
It just is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. And then Forbidden Door, you want to do some stuff with NWA afterwards, who's also getting ready to rally some women's stuff together? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So I'm going to go Mickie James with my safe measure here. Hikaru Shida with my wild card. And then if I have to go with like maybe I'll say Su Yung.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my guesses. What you got for me?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Laurel Van Ness is one. The Awesome Kong, I think, could be kind of a little bit of my wild card, a little bit of the legend status. But I absolutely agree with Mickie James, and you're right as far as the signs that we saw last year and the connection to the Impact moment of the week. Again, she doesn't need to win, but she is a legend. She's also in a space now where she is, helping produce the NWA Women's Show coming up not too long from now. So who knows if there's going to be any tie-in or relationship building between those two. But, I think it's absolutely, like you said, checks off all of the boxes.
Yeah. And this is interesting. And Stan, I think you got some amazing points too. I got to bring up this Tessa comment in a second. What if Gail Kim pulls a swerve and she automatically just comes and do it?
I mean,
I retired, I can't do it, but comes out and says, "Fuck it, I'm out here. I'm trying to do it."
One, they kind of did that with Jazz a little bit. Not really. I think Jazz had retired, but also she's still active in the storyline. I can see that happening as well. Maybe it won't be, Gail Kim wrestling, but maybe she may be managing or working with whoever comes in. So that could be, fascinating as well. So I really would like to see Gail Kim a little bit more on television right now, because we've started the conversation. Deonna has already gone rampant through the Knockouts division, and that includes a lot. That includes who I was thinking of earlier, ODB, and Su Young.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, ODB. Yep,
yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. So it's also like you got to freshen things up. If she's still going to be running through people at least through the rest of the year, who you got to freshen things up. You got to make it a challenge, and you got to at least give fans the idea that someone is going to be able to defeat her.
Yeah. So look, we're gonna wrap it up in a second. Definitely thank you so much for the love. We appreciate you all stopping through. We have fun doing this, so we definitely
Yes.
love to hear you all's interactions for our solid one topic and one B. Sometimes we have a little spinoff thing. I am excited to see where this goes. There is definitely a lot of intrigue as to this mystery person, and it could be fun. I think Sheeta could be super interesting.
I mean, it's a good place for her right now because she's technically at the bottom of the AEW women's rankings. So one, I don't think a loss is going to hurt her because she's already kind of back at the bottom of the list when it comes to the women's division in AEW, even though that storyline wise they're on different planets. But
Yeah,
she is an established champion, a very established wrestler, very technical. And again, I think that was what sets Impact apart, especially with Deonna, is that she's a very technically savvy and sound wrestler. And anytime that she can have a technical match in the ring, it really just is outstanding. So I think it's actually a perfect place for that. Even AEW wouldn't even recognize this loss as a loss anyway. So Sheeta would
yeah,
still be in a great place, but it would be a very, very good match, I think.
yeah. Yeah, true. This is another thing I could be a little bit disappointed about. Anything with Jordan Grace that has not been like long term booking has been problematic for me. Even going back to Ty and her. But one other thing I want to add really quick because I'm getting like goosebumps thinking about the possibilities now. I think Thunder Rosa could be an interesting person here. Hot commodity. There's a lot of her being shown around. Her being an Impact is something that everybody will be truly acceptive of, considering her current previous reigns as champion, and again what she's doing in every direction could be something. And then I was like, all right, we'll end the show on that. And then you made me think of something. You're talking about technical wrestling. How can we forget about Serena Deeb, the woman of 1,000 hoes?
Yeah.
I'll sign up for that.
Oh, that would be good. I mean, name wise, I don't know. I do feel like Serena Deeb has really helped to build her name. I think it's a little, not, I don't want to say obscure because that's not the word. That's not the best way to describe it. But it would be one that when I think about Slammiversary, I just don't know if the name is to that level, especially non-impact related. I could see that at a maybe, they build that up to another event or another pay-per-view. For
True.
Slammiversary, I feel like it's go big or go home.
Gotcha. I agree with you. Well, folks, definitely jump in the comments and let us know who you think this mystery opponent will be. We can't wait. Slammiversary is right around the corner. It's going to be one hell of a night. Check out our previous episodes as we talked about the main event. We talked about the X Division and so on. And as always, we'll be here each and every Friday. Definitely stop over to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, or on Twitter at BGB Group. Either way, you can find out when we're going to go live. We want you to jump in the comments. Let us know your thoughts about these topics. We definitely appreciate the support in the comments today. Ramar, Stan, and Trent for dropping in. And that will do it for us today. So everybody be safe, and we'll see you all next Friday, folks.
Bye-bye.
All I really need